Part 1. The lie you were taught about generosity. Since childhood you were taught, be generous, be giving. People will appreciate you. Kindness makes you respected. But Machiavelli would tell you something far darker. Generosity is the quickest path to poverty and the surest way to lose power. Not because giving is wrong, but because human nature doesn't reward generosity. It punishes it. Look around. The more you give, the more people expect. The more you sacrifice, the more people demand. The more you try to help, the less they respect you. Generosity makes you feel moral, but it makes others feel entitled. People don't think, wow, he's so kind. They think, good, he'll give again. Gratitude dies fast. Expectation grows endlessly, and Machiavelli understood this perfectly. The more you give, the more you must continue to give, or be hated for stopping. Generosity is a trap, because the moment you show it publicly, people stop seeing your strength, they stop fearing your boundaries, they stop valuing your time, they stop respecting your resources, and they start taking you for granted. The generous man becomes a target, a resource, a dispenser, a predictable provider, and predictable providers are used, then forgotten. This is why powerful men, wealthy men, influential men never show generosity openly. They give strategically, not emotionally. They give in silence, not for social approval. They give in ways that strengthen their position, not weaken it. Because here is the harsh truth Machiavelli would carve into stone. A man who shows generosity without power will lose both. You've seen it in your own life. You helped someone once, now they expect it forever. You gave more than you should, and they respected you less. You were kind, and they mistook it for weakness. People don't admire the giving man, they devour him. Never forget this. Kindness without strength is an invitation for exploitation, and generosity without strategy will destroy more men than cruelty ever will. Part 2. Why people exploit the generous man. The psychology behind the abuse of kindness. People don't exploit you because they're evil. They exploit you because you taught them that they can. And nothing teaches exploitation faster than generosity. Most men don't understand this simple psychological law. What is freely given becomes worthless. The moment you give without cost, without limit, without boundary, you create a mindset in others that says, his resources are mine to take. Here's the dark psychology behind it. 1. Generosity shifts you into a lower social rank. In human hierarchy, the provider is always positioned below the receiver. The one who gives is seen as needing approval, seeking acceptance, hoping to be liked, trying to maintain peace, proving his worth. People instinctively sense this. Machiavelli wrote, generosity is mistaken for obligation. Obligation turns to dissatisfaction. Your giving places you in a submissive role, even if your intentions were noble. 2. Generosity creates psychological debt, and debt breeds resentment. People don't like owing others. At first, they appreciate your help, but soon that appreciation turns into discomfort. Discomfort turns into resentment. Resentment turns into hostility. Why? Because your generosity silently says, I did something for you. You owe me gratitude. Humans despise feeling indebted, so they reverse the narrative. You didn't help me, you should have. You owe me. And suddenly, your kindness becomes their expectation. 3. Generosity attracts manipulators like blood attracts sharks. Users, narcissists, opportunists. They can smell a generous man from miles away. Why? Because you reveal yourself instantly. You give without being asked. You overoffer, you try to prove your worth. You fear disappointing people, you avoid saying no, you feel guilty setting boundaries. To manipulators, this is free money. They don't ask, is he kind? They ask, on how much can I extract before he breaks? And most generous men never break. They bend until they shatter. Part 2. Why people exploit the generous man. The psychology behind the abuse of kindness. People don't exploit you because they're evil. They exploit you because you taught them that they can. And nothing teaches exploitation faster than generosity. Most men don't understand this simple psychological law. What is freely given becomes worthless. The moment you give without cost, without limit, without boundary, you create a mindset in others that says, his resources are mine to take. Here's the dark psychology behind it. 1. Generosity shifts you into a lower social rank. In human hierarchy, the provider is always positioned below the receiver. The one who gives is seen as needing approval, seeking acceptance, hoping to be liked, trying to maintain peace, proving his worth. People instinctively sense this. Machiavelli wrote, "Generosity is mistaken for obligation. Obligation turns to dissatisfaction." Your giving places you in a submissive role, even if your intentions were noble. 2. Generosity creates psychological debt. And debt breeds resentment. People don't like owing others. At first, they appreciate your help, but soon that appreciation turns into discomfort. Discomfort turns into resentment. Resentment turns into hostility. Why? Because your generosity silently says, I did something for you. You owe me gratitude. Humans despise feeling indebted, so they reverse the narrative. You didn't help me, you should have. You owe me. And suddenly your kindness becomes their expectation. 3. Generosity attracts manipulators. Like blood attracts sharks users, narcissists, opportunists. They can smell a generous man from miles away. Why? Because you reveal yourself instantly. You give without being asked, you overoffer, you try to prove your worth. You fear disappointing people, you avoid saying no, you feel guilty setting boundaries. To manipulators, this is free money. They don't ask, is he kind? They ask, how much can I extract before he breaks? And most generous men never break. They bend until they shatter. 4. Generosity eliminates scarcity, and scarcity is the foundation of value. Everything valuable in life is scarce. Time, attention, gold, expertise, loyalty. When you give too freely, you remove scarcity. And when scarcity dies, so does value. Machiavelli understood, what is abundant is not treasured. Your generosity floods the market with you. And once people have unlimited access to you, they stop valuing you. 5. Generosity makes you predictable. Predictability makes you weak. If people know, you'll always help, you'll always give, you'll always show up. You'll always stay kind, you'll always save the situation. Then you're no longer respected, you're used. People don't respect predictability. They respect strategic unpredictability. The generous man becomes the world's emotional ATM. Push the right button and he dispenses value. 6. Generosity signals lack of power. Powerful men don't try to prove they're good. Powerful men don't need validation. Powerful men don't explain their kindness. Powerful men don't give blindly. A truly strong man understands. Generosity without strength is self-destruction. Machiavelli said, a prince must avoid the reputation of generosity, for it drains him and breeds contempt. Modern translation, if you make generosity your identity, people will take until you have nothing left. The truth, people don't exploit you because you're too good. They exploit you because you're too available, too predictable, too eager, too unrestricted, too self-sacrificial. Your generosity is not your virtue. It is your vulnerability. Part 3. Why the wealthy never show public generosity, but give strategically. Poor men give emotionally. Powerful men give strategically. And wealthy men rarely ever give publicly. Why? Because they understand a truth the average man refuses to accept. Generosity shown is generosity taxed. The moment people see your kindness, they assume you have more to give. They feel entitled to it. They demand it. and they become hostile the moment you stop. Public generosity is a trap that only the naive fall into. Here's how the elite think and why they almost never make the mistake of appearing too generous. 1. Wealthy men know that generosity signals abundance, and abundance attracts parasites. Show a drop of blood in the water, and sharks swarm. Show a drop of generosity in public, and opportunists appear from every direction. Powerful men understand this. The more you show, the more people try to take. If you help publicly, you are no longer a man. You're a resource, and resources don't earn gratitude. Resources are mined until exhaustion. This is why the rich give quietly, anonymously, or through controlled channels, never in ways that weaken their position. 2. Public generosity creates a permanent expectation. When you give once, people see it as kindness. When you give twice, people see it as your role. When you give 3 times, people see it as their right. And when you stop, they see it as betrayal. This is the psychological law Machiavelli warned about. Generosity once displayed must be maintained without end, or you will be hated for ceasing. Wealthy men avoid this trap entirely. They never create the expectation, because expectation becomes obligation, and obligation becomes resentment. 3. The rich know that public giving weakens their negotiating position. Imagine negotiating with someone who believes you're extremely kind. You always give, you never say no. You want to be liked, you avoid conflict. You're emotionally soft. They will not negotiate with you, they will extract from you. A generous reputation is a strategic disaster. It signals emotional softness, social vulnerability, a desire for approval, lack of strategic discipline. That's why powerful men protect their reputation fiercely, not as kind, but as calculating, because calculating men can't be manipulated. 4. Elite giving is always transactional, never emotional. Regular men give to be perceived as good. The elite give to strengthen their position. They ask, does this increase my influence? Does this secure loyalty I need? Does this open a door I want? Does this return more than I invest? Does this make me harder to attack? If the answer is no, they do not give. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince must appear merciful but act only with advantage." Modern translation, "Look kind, but give strategically, never emotionally." 5. Powerful men understand the weapon of silence. The rich rarely show generosity because power grows in the shadows, not in the applause. Once you make generosity visible, you invite judgment. But when generosity is invisible, it cannot be exploited. This silence protects your boundaries, your resources, your reputation, your leverage, your influence. The crowd respects the man they cannot read and fears the man they cannot predict. The elite principle. Here is the brutal philosophy of the powerful. Give rarely, give strategically, give unseen. This is why the wealthy rise while the generous collapse, not because generosity is wrong, but because generosity, when exposed, becomes a weapon used against you. Part 4. Machiavelli's warning. Generosity breeds contempt, not gratitude. Machiavelli understood something that modern men refuse to accept. People are not grateful for generosity, they are emboldened by it. The more you give, the more they believe you should give. The less you resist, the more they believe you cannot resist. And the more you sacrifice, the more they believe your sacrifices were never sacrifices at all, just your obligation. Machiavelli wrote one of his most brutal truths. Generosity wins you neither loyalty nor love. It breeds expectation and contempt. Look at your own life. How many people thanked you sincerely for the things you did for them? And now compare that to how many people became irritated, cold, distant, or even hostile the moment you stopped giving. That wasn't betrayal. That was human nature. 1. Gratitude is temporary. Entitlement is permanent. When you help someone once, they thank you. When you help them twice, they relax. When you help them 3 times, they depend. By the 4th time, your generosity is no longer generosity. It is your duty. And if you fail your duty, they punish you. Because in their mind, you didn't stop giving. You stopped doing what you were supposed to do. This is why the generous man suffers more than the cruel man. Cruelty sets expectations low. Generosity sets them sky high. 2. People respect boundaries, not kindness. You think kindness earns respect. But Machiavelli teaches the opposite. People respect strength, scarcity, discipline, unpredictability, consequences. Kindness without force behind it is interpreted as weakness. When you are overly generous, people expect you to comply. They stop valuing your time. They take your efforts for granted. They lose fear of disappointing you. They test your limits. They push. Then push harder. Respect fades. Contempt grows. 3. Generosity exposes your weaknesses. Every time you give freely, people ask themselves, why is he doing this? What does he want from me? Is he trying to impress me? Is he insecure? What's wrong in his life that he needs approval? Humans interpret generosity not as a virtue, but as a signal that you crave acceptance. And the moment someone knows you crave their approval, they hold power over you. Machiavelli warned rulers about this centuries ago. He who seeks to please will be owned by those he seeks to please. 4. Generosity creates an invisible contract, and you will be blamed for breaking it. This is the darkest part. People imagine a contract that you never signed. They believe you must always help. You must always be available. You must always say yes. You must always be understanding. You must always sacrifice. So when you finally draw a boundary, you're not seen as protecting yourself. You're seen as betraying them. They won't say, he has given enough. They'll say, he changed. He used to be generous. He's selfish now. He abandoned me. Your generosity becomes the weapon they use against you. 5. Gratitude dies in silence. Contempt grows in the open. Machiavelli observed that people rarely express gratitude. Why? Because they believe acknowledging your effort reduces their status. But they will express contempt immediately. Why? Because contempt elevates their ego at your expense. The generous man loses both ways. Few thank him, many resent him, all expect more from him. This is why Machiavelli warned rulers to avoid generosity as a reputation. Not because it is immoral, but because it is strategically suicidal. The principal gratitude fades, entitlement grows, kindness weakens, scarcity strengthens. Never show generosity as a public trait, or you will be devoured by the very people you tried to help. Part 5. How generosity makes you a target. Manipulators, users, and power leeches. The moment you show generosity, you reveal something far more dangerous, your vulnerabilities. And nothing attracts manipulators faster than a man who gives without resistance. You think generosity shows your goodness, but to the wrong people, it shows your weak spots. This is where the darkest part of human nature emerges. Manipulators don't search for kind men. They search for men who can be drained, and generous men, men who give out of guilt, fear, or insecurity, are the easiest prey on earth. Let's break down exactly how they target you. 1. Manipulators test your boundaries, and generosity tells them you have none. Manipulators always run the same opening strategy. Ask small favors, make innocent requests, take a bit of your time, borrow minor amounts, push tiny emotional burdens on you. They're never large at first. They test you, and when you respond with, of course, no problem, anything you need, they smile inside. because you just signaled I can be used. Machiavelli warned, "A prince who is too eager to please invites domination. Your generosity is the door. Manipulators are the ones who walk through it." 2. Emotionally draining people detect generosity. Wolves detect weak animals. There are people whose entire strategy for survival is extracting energy from others, and generous men, especially emotionally available ones, are their favorite targets. These people unload drama onto you, overwhelm you with problems, drain your attention, demand emotional labor, make you responsible for their stability, reward you only with temporary peace. They don't want your help. They want your capacity to listen, to fix, to sacrifice. You become their emotional host. And once they attach themselves to you, they will bleed you dry. 3. Takers see generosity not as a gift, but as an opportunity. A user never thinks, "He's doing this out of kindness." A user thinks, "He's doing this because he must." And once they believe you must, they no longer feel guilt. They no longer feel boundaries. They no longer feel limits. They feel permission. Permission to ask for more, demand more, take more, drain more, manipulate more. You trained them to believe that your resources exist for their benefit, and they will take until you collapse. 4. Manipulators exploit your desire to be seen as good. The deadliest trap is this: manipulators don't attack your weaknesses. They attack your virtues. If you want to be liked, they withhold approval. If you want to be generous, they ask for help. If you want to be empathetic, they weaponize their suffering. If you want to avoid conflict, they create situations that punish resistance. They turn your best traits into the very chains that bind you. This is why Machiavelli observed, "Good men are easily destroyed because they cannot imagine the malice of others." 5. Guilt-based manipulators use your generosity against you. They will say things like, "You're the only one who understands me. I thought I could count on you. After everything I've shared with you, you used to be so supportive. I guess I was wrong about you." These lines are not emotional statements. They're tactical weapons. They are meant to make you feel obligated, guilty, responsible, ashamed, afraid of disappointing them, afraid of losing the relationship. And once guilt enters, generosity becomes servitude. 6. Your generosity gives them a manual for controlling you. Most men reveal their emotional circuitry through their generosity. Takers quickly learn how to trigger your empathy, how to make you feel responsible, how to manipulate your fear of conflict, how to exploit your desire to be good, how to activate your guilt, how to drain you slowly. Your generosity becomes their blueprint. They don't need to guess what works. They test. You comply. They adjust. You comply more. This is psychological engineering, and it is devastating. The truth manipulators don't attack the strong man. They attack the generous man, because the generous man is already half broken. He fears saying no. He fears disappointing people. He fears being seen as selfish. He fears being unloved. He fears losing connection. Machiavelli would say, "He who gives too freely is already ruled by those he gives to." Generosity is noble, but in the hands of the wrong people, it becomes a death sentence. Part 6. The Rule of Scarcity. Why withholding value creates respect. If generosity destroys respect, then what creates it? Scarcity, not cruelty, not arrogance, not dominance. Scarcity, because human psychology is built on a single truth. We desire what we cannot easily access. We respect what we cannot effortlessly control. We value what we cannot automatically receive. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Men esteem what is difficult to obtain. Here is exactly why withholding value creates authority, tension, gravity, and influence. 1. Scarcity forces people to respect your time, not consume it. When you are always available, People treat your presence casually. People interrupt you without guilt. People assume you'll say yes. People expect you to drop everything for them. People see your time as cheap. But when your time is limited, controlled, protected, people wait for it. People behave better. People treat interactions with more weight. People show up with purpose. People value every minute they get. Abundance devalues everything. Scarcity elevates everything, especially you. 2. Scarcity turns your attention into a reward. Attention from a generous man is expected. Attention from a scarce man is earned. This is why powerful men are not constantly present. Their attention has gravity. It means something. Because if you can't have something whenever you want, you begin to respect it. And when you respect it, you don't jeopardize it. Scarcity teaches people, if I want access, I must behave accordingly. This is the foundation of authority. 3. Scarcity eliminates entitlement. Instantly, generosity creates entitlement. Scarcity kills it. If you give too much, people expect more. People complain when you stop. People resent you for saying no. But if you give rarely, people appreciate more. People stay disciplined. People don't push your limits. People avoid disappointing you. People reflect before asking. Machiavelli would say, what is uncommon is revered. What is common is despised. The man everyone can reach is the man no one respects. 4. Scarcity builds mystery, and mystery builds power. People fear what they cannot predict. People respect what they cannot fully understand. People are drawn to what feels slightly out of reach. This is why quiet men with boundaries create more fascination than loud men with generosity. When you withhold, people wonder what you're thinking. People question how you see them. People consider the weight of their actions. People try harder to impress you. People don't want to lose access. Scarcity turns your silence into a message, your distance into tension, your boundaries into authority. 5. Scarcity makes your yes more powerful than a generous man's. 100 yeses. The man who says yes to everything has a yes worth nothing. The man who says yes rarely has a yes worth gold. When you say yes, it carries weight, it is remembered, it is appreciated. It means something. Single yes from a scarce man creates more loyalty and respect than endless generosity from a weak man, because your yes is earned, not extracted. 6. Scarcity forces people to self-regulate around you. This is where the real power lies. Scarcity makes people speak carefully, ask thoughtfully, behave respectfully, act intentionally, avoid crossing you, fear disappointing you. They regulate their own behavior because they don't want to lose access. This is Machiavelli's philosophy in action. Men value most what they fear to lose. Generosity gives people unlimited access. Scarcity gives them responsibility. One makes you a target, the other makes you a king. The principle: generosity destroys status. Scarcity creates authority. The moment you stop giving freely, you stop being taken for granted. And the moment you become scarce, you become respected, desired, and protected by the weight of your own presence. Part 7. Strategic giving: how powerful men give without losing power. Here's a truth the weak never understand. Powerful men do give. They just never give in ways that weaken them. They give with precision. They give with purpose. They give with outcomes in mind. They give in ways that increase their leverage, not drain their resources. This is what separates strategic generosity from self-destructive generosity. Machiavelli warned rulers, "A gift which brings no advantage is generosity only to the fool." So how do powerful men give without losing power? Here is the blueprint. 1. They give only when it strengthens their position. Powerful men ask one question before giving: does this increase my influence? They never give to be liked, to gain approval, to avoid conflict, to appear moral, to impress anyone. They give only when it creates loyalty, leverage, alliances, long-term advantage, strategic debt. If giving does not shift the balance of power, they do not give. Period. 2. They give to the right people, not to everyone who asks. Weak men give to anyone who requests help. Powerful men are selective. They ask, is this person reliable? Have they shown loyalty? Will they use the support effectively? Is this an asset or a liability? Will this create a useful alliance? Most people are not worth investment, and powerful men know this. They never pour into chronic takers, manipulators, emotional dependents, unstable personalities, ungrateful individuals. Strategic giving is discrimination, not generosity. 3. They give quietly, not publicly. Public generosity weakens reputation. Silent generosity strengthens influence. Powerful men give in private through intermediaries without needing applause, without exposing themselves, without creating expectation. People talk about it. Powerful men don't. And the contrast builds mystique. Machiavelli taught rulers, appear merciful but do not depend on its image, meaning look kind but never let kindness define you. 4. They give once and then observe the reaction. Powerful men treat giving as a test. They watch. Does this person express genuine gratitude? Do they become entitled? Do they offer value in return? Do they respect boundaries? Do they try to take more? Generosity for the powerful is a form of psychological profiling. People reveal themselves in how they respond to blessings. The grateful can be trusted. The entitled must be cut off. 5. They give in ways that create dependency, not escape. This is the darkest tactic. Powerful men give not to empower others, but to tie them to their influence. They give opportunities that require further guidance, resources that create reliance, help that builds long-term loyalty, support that cannot be repaid easily. Their giving creates obligation, allegiance, psychological debt. This is how kings, leaders, and billionaires build empires of loyalty, not through generosity, but through strategic control. 6. They give when it costs them little but gains them much. Powerful giving is asymmetric, small effort, large return. Weak giving is reversed, large effort, small or zero return. Strategic giving looks like advice that elevates someone loyal, introductions that strengthen networks, minor financial help that secures influence, opportunities that create mutual dependence. Powerful men maximize the impact while minimizing the investment. Weak men do the opposite. 7. They set boundaries before giving, not after. Weak men give first and then try to enforce boundaries later. By then, it's too late. Powerful men make their limits clear. This is a one-time favor. Don't mistake this for availability. Respect what I'm giving you. This is not a habit, it's a choice. Boundaries shape the relationship before generosity ever enters it. Machiavelli knew, he who sets terms first controls the exchange. 8. They withdraw generosity strategically to increase value. Powerful men know the art of scarcity. When they pull back, people panic, people reflect, people behave. People try harder, people respect more. The absence of generosity is sometimes more powerful than generosity itself. The principle: weak men give to be loved. Powerful men give to be feared, respected, and strategically followed. Generosity is not the problem. Unconditional generosity is. Strategic giving elevates you. Blind giving destroys you. Part 8. The elite mindset. Why true power never tries to impress. Weak men try to impress. Powerful men don't. Weak men perform generosity. Powerful men conceal it. Weak men chase validation. Powerful men expect it. Because true power has no desire to look powerful. It simply is. Machiavelli understood. The powerful need not persuade. Their presence persuades for them. Here's exactly why powerful men avoid displays of generosity, kindness, or wealth, and why they rise above everyone who does. 1. Impressing others signals neediness. The moment you try to impress someone, you reveal something fatal. You want something from them: approval, validation, acceptance, admiration, affection. Powerful men never want these things. They want respect, loyalty, influence, leverage, control, strategic alliances. Anything else is noise. Trying to impress others is a confession of inner emptiness. 2. Power that must be displayed is not power, it's marketing. Most men think they need to show wealth, generosity, success, kindness, competence, but real power is invisible. If you must display it, it's not real, it's advertising. The elite understand. Power that speaks is weak. Power that is silent is terrifying. That is why powerful men move silently, give strategically, and never explain themselves. 3. The elite know that human nature distrusts over-generosity. When you are excessively generous or too kind, people instinctively question your motives. What does he want? Why is he being so nice? What is he trying to gain? What is he hiding? Generosity makes people suspicious. Restraint makes people respectful. Powerful men don't want admiration. They want people slightly uneasy, slightly uncertain, slightly off balance around them. That uncertainty creates room for authority. 4. Scarcity of emotion builds influence faster than overflowing kindness. Weak men overshare. Their feelings, their intentions, their fears, their insecurities, their generosity. Powerful men reveal nothing. Their emotional scarcity creates mystery, tension, projection, fascination, respect. People fear disappointing a man who does not reveal his desires. People take advantage of a man who wears his heart on display. 5. The elite use restraint as a psychological weapon. Restraint is not passive, it is active dominance. The man who controls his words, reactions, generosity, attention, presence, controls the room. People follow calm strength, not loud generosity. They follow the man who gives little, but always gives with intention. 6. The elite know that being underestimated is a strategic advantage. Weak men want to be seen. Powerful men want to be misunderstood. When people underestimate you, they reveal more, they relax, they expose their intentions. They assume superiority, they let down their guard. The elite use this to position themselves for strategic advantage. Machiavelli wrote, "It is wiser to appear less than you are, because the man who appears small strikes with the element of surprise." 7. Impressing others traps you in their approval. When you try to impress, you become dependent on the reaction. When you depend on reactions, you shape your identity around them, and then you lose your autonomy, your strategy, your power, your clarity. Weak men live reactively. The elite live intentionally. The moment you seek to impress, you surrender the throne. 8. The man who needs nothing controls everything. This is the core of elite psychology. He who needs nothing is controlled by nothing. A man who does not seek approval cannot be manipulated. A man who does not seek validation cannot be insulted. A man who does not seek generosity cannot be drained. A man who does not seek admiration cannot be dethroned. This is why powerful men never try to impress. Their power is internal, not performative. The principal generosity displayed is weakness. Power displayed is insecurity. But restraint is dominance. When you stop trying to impress, you stop losing power. When you stop giving excessively, you stop losing respect. When you embrace scarcity, you finally become a man who commands the room without saying a word. Part 9. Final warning. kindness without power is suicide. Here is the truth most men never recover from. The world does not punish cruelty. It punishes weakness disguised as kindness. You were taught that kindness is noble, that generosity makes you loved, that giving creates loyalty. But Machiavelli warned centuries ago, a prince who relies on generosity builds his own ruin, because kindness without power is not kindness, it is submission, and the world feeds on submissive men. 1. A kind man without power becomes a servant. People don't see your softness as virtue, they see it as availability, and available men become emotional dumpsters, financial resources, moral cushions, unpaid therapists, unthanked helpers, unrespected providers. Your kindness becomes a job you never applied for. 2. A generous man without power becomes a target. The moment people realize you fear disappointing them, you become their puppet. They pull. With guilt, with pressure, with expectations, with emotional manipulation, and you respond every time. Not because you want to, but because you fear the consequences of saying no. And that fear is the scent predators love. 3. A forgiving man without power invites more harm. When you forgive too easily, you tell people, "You can hurt me without punishment," and people will take that offer, not because they are evil, but because human nature expands to fill the space weakness allows. Machiavelli understood, he who is not feared is at the mercy of those who do not love him. Forgiveness without consequences is not virtue, it is self-erasure. 4. A kind heart without a spine is a death sentence. There is nothing noble about being crushed by your own generosity. There is nothing honorable about being drained by others. There is nothing virtuous about abandoning yourself to prove you are good. Kindness should require strength, boundaries, teeth. Without them, you're not kind. You're prey. 5. The world does not reward good men. It consumes them. You can give your time, your attention, your forgiveness, your resources, your loyalty, your everything, and people will nod, smile, take it all, and walk away without guilt. Because the world respects power, scarcity, boundaries, discipline, restraint, self-prioritization, but it does not respect men who sacrifice themselves to be liked. 6. True kindness requires the ability to be cruel. This is the paradox. Only a man who can be ruthless is capable of true kindness, because his kindness is a choice, not a default. His generosity is strategic, not compulsive. His compassion is controlled, not exploited. Machiavelli said, "It is safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." The modern translation, be strong first, be kind second. Never reverse the order. Final warning, if you continue showing generosity without power behind it, if you continue offering kindness with no boundaries to protect it, if you continue giving parts of yourself to people who have given nothing back, then hear this. You are not living. You are slowly committing psychological suicide. The world does not reward the man who abandons himself. The world rewards the man who guards himself first and gives only from a place of strength. Let this be the moment you stop dying by kindness and start living by power.